overall, King Queen of the Ring should be a solid show. I mean, we're all looking forward to it. I think for my time, for me, it starts like noon. My time, I want to say. Yeah.
Now, for me, it's literally 4 a.m. So this is good practice for the show. So there you go.
There it
Yeah,
is.
my overall thoughts. I hope this delivers on the night. At the moment, as of a week away, I'm looking at this card and a bit like, oh yeah, should be okay. You know, it'll probably be a 6.5, 7 out of 10 show. All it really needs to be, I guess. And there you have it.
That's it, pal. All right, so you ready to talk about AEW, Maggle? AEW Double or Nothing. Oh man, here we go.
Pal, can I just say, I can't wait to hear what you have to say on this. I'm very interested. There are a number of different things which I don't know how far you're going to take them. But nonetheless, AEW Double or Nothing 2024. This is AEW's WrestleMania, or one of them. This is the founding show of AEW. 2019, pal. AEW Double or Nothing came to us, and it was absolutely revolutionary. It was like, oh my God. Like, this is like, oh my God, this has changed wrestling as we know it. Now in 2024, is it still that way? No. Will the show be good? Probably. AEW, as we all know, have some very good in-ring talent. On the night for these shows, the shows usually end up being pretty good. But going in, pal, that's what we're here to discuss. The matches, the builds, the storylines. So, Kevin, over to you. Where do you want to start us off?
Man, I'm so excited. I think for the 5-year anniversary of Double or Nothing, or 6, is it the 6th? Is this the 6th Double or Nothing?
Show, but it's been 5 years.
5-year anniversary. Okay, so the 5-year anniversary of Double or Nothing, I'm going to throw it all the way back to the very first inaugural show, just for a moment. Just for a little comparison's sake, right? That show featured 3 incredible matches. That was Cody versus Dustin Rhodes in a 5-star match. The Young Bucks versus the Lucha Brothers in another 5-star match. And then Chris Jericho versus Kenny Omega for the AEW World Championship. That was the end of Chris Jericho's prime. That was when Kenny Omega was still the best wrestler in the world. And, it's just apropos now. 5 years later, Chris Jericho is still here. And Chris Jericho is still giving us content. He's the gift that keeps on giving. He will not go away. Even we're getting to the point now where AEW fans are sick of him. Where AEW fans are chanting, "Please retire." Literally during his segment on Dynamite last Wednesday, 3 days ago, they were chanting, "Please retire." And he's just like, "What are they saying?" Oh, whatever. Okay. So Chris Jericho with Big Bill is going to face Eliminator winner. What does that mean? They're like a number. Oh, there's a number one.
There's going to be a match between Hook, Shibata, and Keith on Dynamite. Pal.
Yes.
So the winner faces Jericho. Is probably going to be Hook. I can picture them having Hook versus Jericho on pay-per-view.
Big Bill.
Look, I'll go for a little bit. Then I want to get more opinion from you. This is 2024, and like you allude to, 5 years ago, it was like, oh my God, Chris Jericho, he's moving up ranking by ranking, the all-time rankings. Every week he was on Dynamite, every pay-per-view. How we were watching it going, he's the GOAT of reinvention. This is one of his great runs. He's creating AEW. He's like the leader. He's the star. Oh my God, he's the first world champion. And now it's 2024. And he's fallen so far into irrelevancy and into now go away hate. Legitimate, just get off my TV, Chris Jericho. That's what this is. So now we're watching it 2024. He's going to go on like 3rd on the show or like 2nd on the show, pal, in the nothing spot, like he was at WrestleMania 33 versus Kevin Owens that pissed him off. It's the same thing here, only this time it is literally a spot no one wants to see him in. Chris Jericho is going to come out, pal. Oh, look, the FTW Championship, pal. It's Chris Jericho. He's 55, pal. Watch him. Oh, it's Jericho.
Yeah, he should not be wrestling. He should not be wrestling anymore. He just shouldn't be. Triple H is like the same age. Triple H ain't wrestling no more. Undertaker's like a couple years older. He's not wrestling anymore. It's sad to see your favorites and the legends become the villain. This dude has hung on way too long, man. That's like the only way to put it. I don't want to focus on this too much because the show has a lot of other good stuff on it, pal. Anything else you want to say?
Well, pal, we're getting this bit out of the way, then we can move on to all the positives and the pleasantries. I look at AEW as a product, and outside Adam Copeland, who we'll get to shortly, for the most part, all the talents are, really the same age as the WWE top talents, late 30s, maybe 40, couple who are like younger, around 30, late 20s for the most part. So they got a good sort of demographic of ages. And then you just got Jericho every week on Dynamite, who's like 55, getting like 15-minute segments and go away Jericho, please retire Jericho chants. So it just doesn't fit with their direction as a product. But that being said, that's enough. Let's move on, pal. What match do you want to hype us up about? What is the match? The one you want to give us the pleasantries for, pal? Talk to us.
All right, let's talk. Let's talk about Trent Beretta and Orange Cassidy. Talk about that for a moment.
Okay.
I'll save the hype for just a moment. I want to touch on this. Orange Cassidy was pretty much like the MVP of AEW last year, along with MJF. But a lot of people are like, "Nah, it's Orange Cassidy." Now he's here. They're doing this whole like implosion of the best friends thing. Chucky T is hurt, so now we got these two guys here, and I'm looking at this. I'm like, the natural progression, right? Typically for a guy that's being heralded as the MVP of the company, and this is also the same in WWE. This is not an AEW thing. I look at Orange Cassidy the same way I look at Gunther. Gunther is kind of, he lost his championship. Orange Cassidy lost his championship, the mid-card belts, and they're both kind of floundering. I'm kind of confused by it. Like, I get it. Christian Cage is hot right now. I don't know. I would like to see Swerve versus Orange Cassidy. I think that'd be a damn good match. But what we're getting here is good. It's going to be good storytelling and a good match. But to transition from that, I just want to touch on that just for a moment. I touched on Swerve Strickland and Christian Cage. If you would have told me in 2019, right? If you would have Jimmy would have said, 2019, you and I having a conversation. You're like, hey, Christian Cage is going to main event Double or Nothing in 5 years. I would have thought you're freaking crazy. I'd be like, bro, like, hang up the call. I don't want to talk to you no more. You don't know wrestling. It's really remarkable what Christian Cage has done. The way he's reinvented his career and battled back from injury and has become like the hottest thing. One of the hottest things in AEW. He's definitely I would say he's had a better run than Edge than Adam Copeland. Say.
Well, he just has. Just has. That's not even that. He just has. I must say on that, and this is a general point. 5 years ago, because we mentioned the Double or Nothing thing, but just generally, 5 years ago, you mentioned the part with Christian Cage there. If you said, Double or Nothing 2024 will be, young, upstart champion, up and coming Swerve Strickland as AEW World Champion versus Christian Cage, I probably would have been like, okay, wow. 2019, 2020, if you told me or I told you, hey, like the main event of WWE's big show in May 2024 is going to be world champion, face of the company, Cody Rhodes against Logan Paul in 2019 or 2020, I would have fallen out of my chair. So wrestling's weird.
It goes the same way, yeah.
Wrestling's weird. But with this all being said, pal, once again, that best friends match, Orange Cassidy will win. He better. I hope Trent isn't beating Orange Cassidy on pay-per-view. Orange Cassidy will get the win. Where they go from there with Orange Cassidy, I'm intrigued. Because like you say, he had such a good year last year. And you still need to get, like, Orange Cassidy's a character and a persona you can get lots of juice out of, quite literally. You get lots of juice out of the Orange, pal. Squeeze it tightly, pal. You can get him into the main event scene, I think. I agree. With regards to, Swerve and Christian Cage, I'm looking forward to that match. Like, it's one of those ones where, on its merits, it's a good match. It's going to be, a fun match, good storylines, storytelling, I assume, involved. I come the night. Christian matches, I usually like watching. I know a lot of people weren't as in favor of the Adam Copeland matches. The first one was crap. The last two were pretty good. I think Christian's role in those matches is great, and I think he's going to be great here. He's just a great old wise hand, pal, guiding the young talents, or in this case, Adam Copeland in the previous instance. But I can't wait, pal. It's going to be blistering.
Yeah, absolutely. Swerve is definitely going to win. Like, I don't see a world where Christian Cage wins the championship. That would be kind of egregious. I do think the match would be fun. I don't know what they could do, really. Like, AEW's in a place now where there's kind of the people that watch the shows are the people that watch. Like, they're not really pulling any extra viewers, not really gravitating towards another audience. So I think this is kind of what AEW is and what it's going to be. I think the days are kind of over of like, star building performances, like, building stars, building someone to go up against Swerve Strickland. It's just kind of working with what they have.
Yeah,
Like maybe the next match for Swerve will be like Will Ospreay. Maybe I don't know,
yeah.
but yeah. Speaking of Ospreay, but
Also, for just before you go, yeah, you bang on. It's essentially, look, here are the toys we have in the toy box. Swerve is the champion. He's the little championship toy. Okay. Oh, that's Christian Cage at Double or Nothing. Which toy should we grab out next? You. Okay. Here's our next match, and that's what they're going to do for the next Forbidden Door or the show like All In. That's what they'll do. I was like, okay, who's here? Where's the Osprey toy? There it is. Here you go. Like, that's sort of what we're going to do. It seems like it's the AEW way of doing it, which is what it is. Like, that's just AEW. Good. That's their model of doing things. Matches usually end up being pretty good, pal. Tony Khan's a great booker of matches. Is he a great writer of storylines? No, but nonetheless, let's presume.
yeah, I mean the bills are non-existent for these shows. Really, it's just like
Yeah.
a bunch of matches on Dynamite. They don't really do anything outside of the ordinary to get people hyped or try to build hype. They just rely on, oh, this is our brand, Double or Nothing. We're gonna have good pay-per-views, great matches, and it's kind of what you get.
Well,
Yeah,
I know because a couple of people will be shouting at the screen as you say that. Yes, they have been doing some good angles to close Dynamite with, like, yeah, the Elite and the Okada thing, the thing with Omega getting beaten up, powered by Jack Perry. They have been trying some stuff as far as angles. I'll acknowledge that. But yeah, anyway,
yeah. I mean, it's fair to acknowledge that. Well, I was gonna talk about that when we get to that match, but so it's good that you brought it up now. Roddy Strong versus Will Ospreay. That match is one that people are gonna just predetermine. Okay, 6-star match, or the bell even rings. Not really much we can add to that. It's gonna be a fun match. Anything you want to add?
This is the thing, right? Because you are so correct. Already in the list of the show's matches that Dave Meltzer has in his notebook, and a lot of wrestling fans have on their slideshow reviews ready to go, they've got this match already at 5 stars. It hasn't even started. Nothing's happened. It's already 5 stars. So they're gonna have their 22-minute in-ring match, and people, no matter how good or bad it is, it's gonna be 5 stars. So what's the point of even previewing anything? Because we know what it's gonna be. Will Ospreay win, pal? Who knows? Will Roderick Strong pin him clean, pal, like Ospreay cleanly tap out? Probably not. Yeah, Ospreay will probably win the match. It's already 5.5 stars, and everyone's little slideshow review notebooks. So yeah, is what it is. Is what it is.
Exactly.
There you go.
So then there's Willow Nightingale versus Mercedes Moné, pal. The AEW TBS Championship. We've already talked about Mercedes Moné a lot. I'm not going to rehash any of the things that we've said. Yeah, I mean, she's in the middle of the card match against Willow Nightingale. Is that what you're paying her to do? If you're Tony Khan, like if I'm a businessman, I'm probably trying to put Mercedes Moné in a big time match that's going to draw people in to watch the show, draw people in to buy the show that aren't already going to buy it. That would be me. Having her face Willow Nightingale for the TBS Championship, I don't think really accomplishes that. No, I don't know. Maybe it will. Maybe an extra 60,000 people will buy the show, pal, to watch Mercedes Moné lace them up. Like, just the way they promoted this, I would be promoting it like, oh, this is Mercedes Moné return to American wrestling. This is like what they did with Punk. Like, oh, she's back. Oh, one of the greatest stars, star of what was she on, Mandalorian?
Yeah.
Like I would be just. It's easy to say that here, armchair booking, but I don't know. It just what we're getting is like, here's Mercedes Moné, pal. She's moaning on TV. She's getting beat up and crying. And here's Willow Nightingale. There you go. Have a match. Like you said, toys in the box.
Yeah, look, I've seen like ads for Double or Nothing, like on ESPN and all these different like channels and on YouTube. Like as I'm trying to watch a video, like an NBA talk video, or whatever, like an ESPN clip, I see the videos of Double or Nothing. Like they're showing the clips of Mercedes Moné, who she's like confronting Willow Nightingale, or she's like like they're shouting at each other, and they're trying to hype this up, and like cool, good. It's like, is it bad? I mean, no. Is it really good? No. It's there. It's hard to discuss, right? Because we talked about this a week or 2 weeks ago. I think 2 weeks ago, And the way we analyze it, I listened back to it. This is fantastic. We're talking about how, like, like the plan and how this is like, almost like this is panic stations for AEW with Mercedes Moné. And we're really breaking it down and, like, maybe even over analyzing it. The truth of the matter is, she's 2 months in. She came in at big business in Boston, pal. And Kevin, if I told you, hey, her match at Double or Nothing, her first big American wrestling, big AEW pay-per-view match. This is her first match. It's going to be after 2.5 months. Already, like, the hype sizzled out already. She's facing Willow Nightingale for the TBS Championship, like 4th on the card. What would you have said? Probably something similar to what you just said. Like, this is the decision. This is the move. This is the chess move on the board. Like, could you not do anything better? That's probably what we would have said, considering she came into a piping hot building, pal, in Boston. CEO. She was emotional. Talking about what wrestling means to her, pal. Now it's the TBS Championship, which I've got to read this, pal. I saw this on Facebook. I'm just going to read this for our listeners. And this wasn't me. This is someone on Facebook, okay? You ready, pal?
Yep.
This is from the pro wrestling world. Imagine going from main eventing the biggest wrestling show in the world against another talented young star for a prestigious title to only a few short years later finding yourself working for the B Company, fighting for a championship named after a channel that just plays old reruns of Friends and Big Bang Theory. She did this to herself, and she took Naomi down with her. At least Naomi had the sense to make things right. Mercedes is apparently too stubborn. This is what happens when you believe you're a bigger star than you really are. Not a needle mover, not a ticket seller. I always enjoyed Sasha Banks' matches, but never felt like anything was missing while she was gone. Seriously, though, good luck in a bid to win the Cartoon Network Championship, though, or whatever channel name they named the title after. So that was someone on a Facebook thread. I saw that and was like, oh, wow. That's a bit more of a tribal, blunt way of viewing it. I'm not as like that. That was a bit blunt, a bit nasty, but that's sort of what's happening. Like, that's sort of the reality. Not much of that post was really wrong. I just wanted to throw that out there, pal. So there you go.
There you go. And for time's sake, pal, I'm just going to go through a couple other matches real quick.
Yep.
Toni Storm versus Serena Deeb. Going to be a good match for the women's title. Toni Storm's going to keep her reign of terror going, most likely. And then, Jon Moxley versus Takeshita in an IWGP World Heavyweight Championship Eliminator match. This is a good way to keep NJPW and AEW's relationship going. Moxley and Takeshita should be a good match. I assume Takeshita beat Moxley since he's beaten everyone in the company, seems like. Mm-hmm. And then, I want to take just a moment to discuss this one. Adam Copeland versus Malachi Black in a barbed wire steel cage match for the AEW TNT Championship. And Malachi Black is somebody that has been on the bench in AEW for pretty much since he signed, and he was this big game changer. Oh my God, Aleister Black is here. Oh, and now his name's Malachi. House of Black. He's been hot and cold with a lot of AEW talents. They come in, they get a couple weeks, whatever. Then they're off TV for like 3 months, and hearsay. Adam Copeland is probably, I assume he went to Tony Khan and was like, I want to wrestle Malachi Black. It's on my list of guys that I want to wrestle before I retire. And Tony Khan, being a fan and not a boss, is like, yeah, let's do it, bro. So here we are. I saw somebody post on Twitter and they were like, Edge lost all of his aura the second he debuted in AEW. And it's really kind of crazy for me, especially because, I grew up watching Edge. You missed Edge,
Yeah.
He was gone, but he was retired by the time you started watching wrestling. I grew up watching Edge pretty much from the moment that he hit it big in like 01 TLC matches, and I watched all through the Ruthless Aggression era. I watched him as he became the biggest heel in WWE and it's the perfect antagonist for John Cena. It's kind of sad to see him now at this stage where it's just like, oh, Adam Copeland's having a match. Malachi Black, like, for a mid-card championship. It's Sting, for example, Sting is like another top 25 guy, which Edge is. Sting had an aura, even in TNA, even in the dark days, when Jeff Hardy's showing up drunk, pal, and when he's wrestling Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair and Bloodbaths, that nobody cared about. Sting still had an aura. Edge has lost all of his aura. It's almost like it's almost like he doesn't feel like a top 15 guy anymore.
Mm,
You know,
yeah.
and he's gonna have a good match. It's gonna be a great match. But like, why am I supposed to like this? Just because, oh, I'm Adam Copeland, I'm 50 years old, and I'm wrestling still?
Yeah.
That's why I'm supposed to like it?
Yeah, and look, and I'll be fair. You know, the last year, let's say year, Edge was in WWE. It was a bit like, okay, he's in the mid card, whatever. But even then, that farewell match against Sheamus they did on that SmackDown, that still was like, oh wow, like this is Edge. This is like a big time match. Oh my god, wow. Like that still felt like a really big deal. And that was like on his final night in the WWE, pal, his final match. And he faced Finn Balor at WrestleMania and all the stuff they did. It was quite good. You know, even Edge on his way out the door, pal, the big Brood entrances, and it still felt like you're watching, oh wow, this is Edge. Like there's like the Brood, there's the fire, there's the throwback entrances. This is, you know, Adam. Yeah, it was really good. The stuff here is you nailed it on the head. It's Adam Cole going, I want to wrestle this guy. And Tony Khan's like, okay, Edge, okay, Adam, go for it. Have 25 minutes to double or nothing. Go. You know, so yeah, he's wrestling Malachi Black. Yeah, Malachi, as you say, he's been very hot and cold. He's been sitting on the bench quite a while. He's been outside the click pal for quite a while in AEW. He's just sort of been just there. I guess he's not problematic enough. He doesn't storm up to Tony Khan enough. He's not in Tony Khan's ear enough. He's not Chris Jericho. He's not Adam Copeland. He's not the Young Bucks. He's not these guys. He's not when the Hardy Boys went to Tony Khan 3 months ago and were like, we're not being used. Use us. Then all of a sudden you saw the Hardy Boys on TV every week. It's not the same thing. Clearly, Malachi just goes about his business, shows up to work, probably gets on well with the boys, pal, with the other wrestlers. Probably has a lot of friends in the locker room. But he's not confrontational enough. He's not combative enough to Tony Khan, I'd assume. That's why now all of a sudden I think Adam Copeland just went up to him, hey, I want to wrestle this guy. Okay, Adam. And now we're getting that at the pay-per-view. Yeah, the aura's not there. It just isn't. This is the great Edge. This is a top 20 guy all time. And he's going to wrestle like fifth on the card, just there. He's going to come out. Guy and Tony Schiavone. Adam Copeland is here. He's here. This is Adam Copeland. It's like, okay. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be tuned into the show. I'll be watching every match, and I do think it's going to be a good match. And yeah, like part of me is like, okay, yeah, Adam Copeland's here having a good match. Like, what more than just Adam Copeland wrestling? Like,
I must say, it's not about what you're watching. It's about how you feel about what you're watching.
yes.
That's wrestling. Chris Jericho wrestling, whatever. Any of these legends, if you're 53, whatever, or you know, you can wrestle. That's great. We get to see Adam Cole. We get to see the great Edge. We get to see the great Chris Jericho. Great, awesome. How do we as audience and as viewers feel about it? Are we invested? Is there a reason we legitimately should care? Is anything of meaning happening from this? What does this mean for AEW in 3, 6, 9 months' time? What's the plan? What's the long-term direction? Is Malachi Black going to have this match, lose, and go back to doing nothing for the next 6 months? Is that what this is going to be? Is this going to be a one-off? Oh, guys, this is Malachi Black's pay-per-view showcase for 2024. Back to Collision and Rampage you go. See you, Malachi. You know, no more mainstream spot for you. Is that all this is? Okay, if that's all this is, then whatever. Why should I invest? Why should I feel Tony? Tony, you need to make me feel.
Yes. All right, pal. Got to get to this last match before I'm ready for this Knicks game. One last match.
Yeah.
Then we'll go around the world.
Yeah.
The Elite versus Team AEW.
Yeah.
An Anarchy in the Arena match.
Yeah.
Okay. I love the idea. I love it. I love the idea of this match. But we just know this is supposed to be CM Punk in there instead of Bryan Danielson. You know? And it's like, why do this then? Why are we doing this whole like, oh, the Elite's rebelling against AEW if CM Punk's not there? Like, you're showing CM Punk's footage, the all-in takedown. The obvious gray cloud is in the sky. It's like the huge elephant in the room is there the whole time. And I can't, as a fan, get invested into Bryan Danielson being the guy that's like, you know, picking a side. Like, yeah. Bryan Danielson's Mr. Neutral, you know, Mr. Good Guy. Everybody loves Bryan Danielson. So yeah, but regardless, the match will be fun. It's top tier talent in the ring here. You know, Okada, Young Bucks, Danielson, FTR. You know, Jack Perry, Darby Allin. It's gonna be a great match. Um, it just doesn't have the same oomph that it would if it was CM Punk in there instead of Bryan Danielson. Man, that would be remarkable.
I'll use the F word. It doesn't have the same feel. That's the word. That's the word of the week, pal. The feel. Yeah. I mean, I usually always like these matches, whether they're like the Anarchy in the Arena or they have the Stadium Stampedes historically with the first couple. I still remember the one where Jericho put the hat, like the cone on his head and was like making like weird like noises and whatever, and like the stuff they did in that one at Jacksonville and all that stuff was great. Yeah, they did a Daily's Place and some of those matches, like awesome stuff. What they do here, I'm sure this will be the match of the night. No, make no mistake about it. This is the best match we see at this show.
Yeah.
This will be the most fun match. Yes, once again, would it make more sense if Phil Brooks was confronting the Elite pal? Yeah, it would. Even in the storyline they're doing now, would it make more sense if Kenny Omega was replacing Bryan Danielson here and it was like Omega and Co versus the Elite? Yeah, that would make more sense because, the Elite bashed up Kenny Omega, who still has crippling diverticulitis, pal, as I'm making it seem. Because obviously, using some common sense, if Kenny Omega's well enough to be on TV, if he's getting hit with a chair, I'm not like, oh my God, he still has crippling diverticulitis in hospital, he's going to die. It's a bit different. Like he's medically cleared to be in the ring, or else otherwise Tony Khan's risking extraordinary insurance liabilities if he's not. But nonetheless, pal, the match is going to be really good. It should be 25 minutes of chaos. You're going to have Matthew and Nicholas Jackson jumping around, hitting FTR. Darby Allin will be diving off things onto Okada. Bryan Danielson will be locking in chin locks and moves on Jack Perry, pal. There's going to be anarchy, pal. This will be match of the night. No doubt about it, pal. There you go.
There you go. All right, so Double or Nothing is going to be a fun show. I'm sure it'll be better than King and Queen of the Ring.
Yeah, I agree. I think Double or Nothing will be better. I think Double or Nothing like a 7.5 out of 10 show.
Yeah, maybe
King
an 8.
Queen of the Ring like a 6.
Any MJF return possibility?
Ooh, hope so.
MJF, like, he has like an R-Truth gimmick. He doesn't know what's going on in wrestling anymore, and he's like, CM Punk, I'm here to kill you.
Yeah. He runs down screaming at Bryan Danielson, CM Punk, F you, Punk, F you. And then you have the lights go out, and like Adam Cole and the Devil comes out. It's like Dominic Dijakovic, pal, is the Devil, pal. And MJF looking around, what the hell is going on? And you got, they're coming out to like root of all evil, like the Devil comes out. Like, what is this?
All right, pal, let's go around the world.
So imagine Tony Khan, he fumbled the spec scripts, fall on the floor. He's got like pages of one storyline, mixed the pages of the other storyline. And like no one fact checks it prior to the show.